Welcome, and thank you for your interest in our research about familiarity, deviation, and uncanniness in faces and non-faces. The uncanny valley is a hypothetical function of the effect of human likeness on likability of humanoid entities. With increasing human likeness, the likability of entities increases until a certain point, here marked in red, where human-like entities drop into the negative. Faces in general are detected and recognized much more quickly and accurately than other non-face object categories, hence the processing of faces seem to depend strongly on the upright orientation of the face. Inversion also reduces the variance of aesthetic judgments. Expertise, or face expertise specifically, may enhance the ability to detect deviations. So our question is whether expertise actually drives the uncanniness of deviating exemplars. For our first study, we investigated the effects of familiarity and upright orientation of faces on the uncanniness ratings of face distortion. We tested 66 participants, half of them were British, half of them German. Stimuli were variants of 5 famous British faces and 5 famous German faces. The stimuli were incrementally distorted and presented either upright or inverted. The first task was a face rating task. The second task was a delayed face matching to sample task. On the left, you can see the results of the uncanniness ratings. So uncanniness increased across the distortion levels. The increase of uncanniness was stronger for familiar compared to novel faces and upright compared to inverted faces. As for the second study, on the x-axis, the distortion difference levels are depicted. On the y-axis, you can see the identical response rate. With increasing differences between the faces, participants responded more often that the faces were different. The ability to tell difference was highest for familiar compared to novel faces and for upright compared to inverted faces. Finally, the identical response rate can predict the uncanniness of the faces as well as familiarity, inversion, and distortion combined. The second experiment focused more on the direct effect of expertise or familiarity on the uncanniness of deviating exemplars. 45 participants were tested. 21 in an expertise condition and 24 in a control condition. The stimuli were asymmetrical agreeable stimuli. 10 distorted variants were created. The expertise participants went through a 5-day expertise training. Participants of both conditions went through a rating task, the expertise condition after the training. In the rating task, all agreeables were presented. In the expertise training, only the original 30 asymmetrical agreeable stimuli were used. On the left, you can see the average uncanniness ratings across the conditions. There was no significant difference between normal and distorted variants in the control condition, but there was a significant difference between normal and distorted agreeables. Specifically, distorted agreeables were more uncanny than normal agreeables in the training condition or after the expertise training. In addition, distorted agreeables were more uncanny in the training condition than distorted agreeables in the control condition. The results show that uncanniness seems to be elicited by deviations from familiarized categories. Furthermore, the degree of expertise or familiarity with the category enhances the sensitivity to deviating exemplars.